foodies! Welcome back to Grab a Bite. I'm Gio Kawachi, your host for this podcast. Chef, restaurateur, and award-winning author Chef Tatung joins us today as he talks about his career, passion for food, and what it takes to be great in this industry. He also shared his inspiration and how his failures contributed to his success. So foodies, sit back, relax, and let's grab a bite with Chef Tatung. Hey foodies, welcome to Grab a Bite. Today I'll be joined by a chef, a restaurateur, a social media influencer, and an award-winning author. He is best known online as the chef who does practical and easy-to-do recipes that are actually simple to make. So guys, let's all welcome on the show, Chef Tatung Sarato.
Hello to everyone. Yan.
Kamusta po kayo, Chef? How's everything?
I'm okay. Yeah.
How's the Christmas rush? I know it's been December na, so very, very busy na.
Parang ang attitude ko is do what you can, pero let go of what you can't control. So you also manage your stress. Kasi it's end of the year, a lot of things going on, so you can't parang kill yourself just because it's, Christmas season.
Exactly. And that this is also the time dapat to enjoy it then at the same time. Even I know in the F&B business this is the time to really
we usually don't enjoy this month. It's really just focused on work. So, pero okay naman. Like, later on, I'm attending a Christmas party. So, meron pa rin konti.
May konting fun pa rin siya. I'd like to get to know you more, Chef. I think this is one of the sides that medyo di natin na-focus. I mean, you're doing vlogs now in your content, aside from your cooking, but you're also dabbling into that.
Yeah.
So, what really kick-started your love for cooking, Chef?
I really started cooking very young, no? So, while all my cousins and friends were playing around, I really found the kitchen to be very fascinating. So, parang luto-luto, you start off by helping out, diba, yung sitaw, you remove the ends, or yung malunggay and all that. And parang I think they were my grandmother or anyone in the kitchen was parang kind enough na, sige, halu-haluin mo yan. Or di ko alam, child abuse ba yun or whatever. Pero, child labor. Pero, they were so glad to let me help, no? Kasi there are also parents or, di ba, other cooks, dun ka sa labas, huwag kayo dito, magulo kayo dito. But they were really receptive of my curiosity in the kitchen. So that helped me a lot to learn. It really started my curiosity and all that. So, parang, even when I was cooking by myself, di ba, bata, di ba?
Yes.
You're a tornado in the kitchen, di ba? Ang gulo-gulo after the kitchen. They wouldn't complain. They wouldn't siya sige, linisin na lang yan, ganun. So, parang hinayaan din nila ako mag-develop ng skill without knowing that I'd get myself into this industry. Kasi, way back, wala namang career ang chef, di ba?
Yes,
it's only in the last 2 decades that becoming a chef became a thing.
Yes.
Chef. Pero
dati
kasi, kusinero, di ba? Ano ginagawa mo dyan? Iwan mo yung makatulong dyan. Bakit ka nanggugulo dito, di ba? Yan. So, pero ako kasi, it really fascinated me. And I would remember, even as a kid, kasi, di ba, may mga, in the probinsya dati, di ba, you also have your house help, you have, di ba, mga workers or whatever, then, sasabi ko sa mga ko, I want to learn to make puto, I want to learn to... So, she'd allow me to go to the houses of these mga, di ba, these people, and parang, sige, natututo ako, sinasama din nila ako, punta sa palengke, nagpapagiling ng bigas, and all that. So, it was really a normal thing for me growing up. Yes. Hindi siya yung parang, I want to go to school, it's formal, this is parang, just really immersing yourself in other people's home.
Basically, just feeding to the curiosity.
And also, connecting with your culture. I think that's the thing that, because cooking really, if you look back, is really a communal activity, especially if you think of mga fiesta dishes, di ba? People cook as a group. You don't cook na, I am the chef and this is my creation.
Yes.
Diba? It's usually, kami nagluto ito. May nagbabalot ng embutido dito, may doon nagpapalambot ng karne, doon mga nasa loob nagbabalot ng mga polvoron or whatever, pastillas. Diba ganun yung mga communities before, especially for Christmas season,
it's
diba, undas and all that, no? So, diba, gagawa ka ng, di ba, ginataan, di ba? You don't cook just for your family. You cook for a lot, then hatid mo, bigay mo dun sa kapitbahay na. Diba? That's how we prepared stuff. And because you're cooking for a lot of hands help in. So that was my childhood. That was how I became interested.
Was there a certain dish that really ignited your passion for food?
Alam mo, ako talaga, lahat ng kaya kong matutunan, talagang kinakarir ko. You know, I was like in like grade 5, grade 6, I could debone an entire chicken and do a galantina. As in, ganun talaga ako ka.
Sino nagturo sa inyo, chef?
I just watch. I'm very intuitive.
That's
I'm
hard.
very like parang may natural ako, like I remember kasi even growing up when eating stuff, parang when I taste food, alam ko na yung ingredients. Parang may
So malakas na yung panlasa nyo bata pa
Oo,
lang.
malakas yung panglasa. Kasi my mom was telling me na parang, alam mo, ikaw nung bata ka, if you're craving something, you can't replace it with anything. You want a specific, very specific, parang taste.
Yes.
So, parang, siguro, ganun siguro yung, di ba, like, in the same way, like, in music, di ba, when I listen to great composers or arrangers, parang, hindi ko maintindihan. Makikinig ako ng mga magagaling na singer, di ba, binabalik nila yung kanta na parang, hindi ko parang hindi kaya ng utak ko i-break down. Hindi kaya ng utak ko. Wow, how did di ko ma-figure. Pero I also realized when it comes to composing flavors and texture, ganun din ako. I can break it down into elements in my own mind.
Yes.
Na ganun. Like
Nakikita mo na siya.
titikman ko lang yung dish, kaya ko siyang i-replicate.
Wow.
May ganun akong
Skill, kumbaga.
skill.
Yes.
So, siguro, it's just like how your brain is wired, di ba? Parang siguro...
And train, I would say. That's still
And also train.
train.
Pero without that, parang may something kasi like parang sinasabi mo, meron ka or wala. Di ba may ganun, di ba? Na parang, like for example, a lot of Filipinos sing, pero do they really sing?
Yes.
Di ba? But when you hear someone na talagang meron,
Kumbaga parang
it's
may X factor.
may unmistakable gift na na ibang klase to. Yun. So, ganun ako nag-start. Di ba? Masyado akong makwento, di ba? Pero, ganun siya. Ganun talaga yung start ko. Then, I think I also grew up in a generation na if you wanted to eat something, you had to cook it kasi wala pa masyadong restaurants. Wala pa masyadong, di ba? Hindi ka pwede, ay, nakita ko ng burger. I'll go to this fast food. I'll go to this restaurant. Wala namang ganun, di ba?
Compared now, accessible.
Everything's accessible.
Yes.
And not only are these dishes accessible, but because, ito, lumaki sa panahon ni Marcos, di ba, sikat-sikat na word ngayon yung tariff.
Okay, yes,
di ba, tariff. And at the time of Marcos, there was so much tariff put on important goods. Mm-hmm. If you had like chocolates, imported chocolates, or you had apples in your house, ibig sabihin, may galing sa Amerika, may galing ng abroad, di ba? Unlike now, you want to buy oranges, you want to buy chocolates, punta ka ng anong fast food, di ba? Kahit saan, di ba? Gusto mo ng apple, palengke, meron nga sa bagketa, di ba? But in that time, that's why if you see like photos of mga fiestas or drawing ng mga elementary school na may fiesta, may lechon, then may mansanas yung sa bibig, di ba?
Yes, yes.
Now, the apple is like ordinary. You can make apple pie anytime. But during that time, magkaka-apple ka lang, kamay umuwi. Galing barko,
interesting.
OFW, or whatever. Kaya pag nagpiesta ka, naghanda ka, papakita mo talaga, may apple kayo nilalagay sa bibig. That was the reason for that. Now, kasi hindi na siya glamorous. Kasi,
exactly.
di ba, galing China na yung apple natin dito, di ba? So, it's really different. Like, when you'd see like videos, or di ba, you'd watch like mga Hollywood movies, and you'd see pizza, di ba, ngayon yung cheese na may pool, or yung mga ganun. You couldn't find that here before because you couldn't buy like mozzarella cheese just anywhere. You'd have to probably like someone brought it in, or it was very expensive, but it wasn't something that everybody would have. So for you as a young cook, you've seen these ideas, you've seen like videos, you've read about them, but there's no direct parang link to that product or that recipe or that dish to where you are.
Yes.
So what you do, you become more innovative, you become more creative, and
You find ways to do it, basically.
dear, sa panahon na yun, kung may cookbook ka, walang picture.
Oh.
Di ba?
Hulaan.
Look at the recipe books of Nora Dasa. You don't know when she's explaining things because of course probably the recipes are not that well written pa or ganun, very very clear. Parang general kasi lutong bahay naman yung basta igisa mo ganun, chop mo yung ganun, very general. So, ang aesthetic ng dishes look different from household to household. Kasi sabi mo, chicken pastel mo, yan. Kasi, one, access to ingredients. Hindi tayo pareho ng access to ingredients. You cook with what you have. Secondly, you also don't have a peg. Walang Pinterest.
Yes.
Walang Instagram. So, kung ano yung intindi ko sa small dice, ang small dice ganito, ang small dice ko, iba yung pagkagawa, di ba? So, it really was different. That's why, if you look back, iba-iba talaga yung recipes, even if they originated from an original idea, interpretations of dishes were different from household to community and all that. No? So, yun talaga. So, growing up talaga, eto pa, wala na ngayon, na bankrupt na yung kumpanya. Tupperware.
Okay.
Tupperware parties was a thing during the time I was growing up.
I read article regarding Tupperware parties. Pero like for us, feeling ko hindi namin naabutan yun. What was it?
So Tupperware parties, so a neighbor would invite, we'll have merienda, then I'll be doing a cooking demo. So for example, we'll be making like mango jam, and we'll be making breadsticks, and we're making pineapple pie. Okay. So what they will do is, they will do a demo. Then after ng demo, magbebenta-benta ng demo. So dito nanago yung aking apples, parang ganun. Magbebenta na sila ng apple, mga Tupperware na ganun. So magsa-serve ng juice na sa Tupperware na pitchill, ganyan. So mga housewife, bumibili din siya.
Yes.
Kung gusto mo din maging dealer, pwede ka din kasi di ba yung parang networking.
Yes.
So of course, at that time, di ba, like, what sort of entertainment was there?
Available,
diba?
yeah.
Very
limited lang din.
Very limited. So, what would you do? Ikaw, bata, sasama ka dun kasi after man ng demo, may merienda eh.
Yeah.
Diba?
Enjoy mo siya.
Enjoy mo siya. So, ganun, like, it was very normal for families or wives or women to have like Saturdays together teaching each other recipes. So, parang ganun siya. So, cooking was really like a community thing, diba? So, pagdating ng Pasko, of course, yung lahat ng ulam ng kapitbahay, meron ka, padalan mo din. Parang ganun, di ba? So, parang...
yun talaga yung parang kumbaga bonding ng community.
Bonding ng community. And at that time, di ba, even up to now, meron parang mga communities na ganyan. Lahat ng kapitbahay mo, tito, tita, kahit hindi mo kami kaanak.
Totoo yun.
Di ba? So, you get to eat in their houses and all that. So, I got to learn a lot of recipes. Kasi kahit sa kabilang bahay, ano yung ninuluto? Paano yun? Nag-oosyoso ako. Yun. So, that's where I got a lot of like ideas and different recipes. And I grew up in Cebu, but my father's family side is really from Manila.
Okay.
So, they migrated to Cebu in the 1950s. My dad studied high school in Cebu. I was born in Cebu and all that. So, I grew up in a household of mixed cultures.
Yes.
So alam ko talaga,
cuisine, I would say.
mixed cuisine, di ba? Regional cuisine. Because my lola was Bicolana. Then my mother's side was Cebuano, di ba? Then Tagalog.
Wow, that's a great collection of cuisine
and you
in a
really,
household.
You
Ang
really
ganda nun, chef.
Now kasi, when you talk of Philippine cuisine, everything is mainstream. You say kare-kare. Kare-kare is now like a national thing. Sisig is like known nationwide. Pero at that
Even
time
worldwide,
kasi,
actually.
at that time, wala pang restaurant nagsuserve ng kare-kare.
Yes.
It was only cooked in our house.
Doon mo lang talaga siya matitikman.
Matitikman mo siya. So if our Cebuano visitors would come there, ano ba yan? Unsa man na? Katabang ba? It's so bland.
Yes.
Then you have to eat it with the bagoong. Okay, ganun. Then if we cook sinigang and my lola from my mother's side would go so, ano ba yan? Parang ang asim-asim. Sisikmura ako dyan sa... Di ba? Like,
yes.
You know, so there's that really like differentiation.
Yes.
And that's why, growing up, I learned to respect regional differences and I knew how to cook differently. That's why when I cook, I never come from the mali yung gawa mo. 'Di ba? Kasi a lot of chefs, 'di ba? Parang ay mali yan. Hindi ganyan, mali yan. I acknowledge na iba-ibang kultura, iba-iba yung pamilya, iba-iba yung gusto. So ako, for me, I always get ideas from that. So parang I'm more open-minded. 'Di ba? Like for example, like there are communities, other regions here na parang very strong culinary traditions and it's very close-knit. So lahat ng ginagawa ng ibang bansa, puro mali.
Totoo yun.
Puro mali, di ba?
Yes.
Di ba? Kapangpangan. Mali yan. Hindi yan, ganyan. Ilo-ilo, ganun din. Ganun na. So every time, yung mga ganung klaseng may mga chefs, hi! Mga chefs, you know who you are, di ba? Di ba? Hindi sila nagkakasundo, sino yung mas better. Kasi mas magaling kami. Sasabihin na lang kami ng iba-ibang chefs, ano lang tayo, di tayo marunong magluto. Di ba?
Actually, lahat na lang wala.
Lahat na lang hindi marunong kasi sila lang marunong. So,
exactly.
Pero I think my advantage was that, and it also helped me later on in my career, na you always seek for balance, you always check facts and all that, 'di ba? Kasi parang from food I moved into like journalism.
Yes.
I moved into writing, and ang discipline namin was always like check your facts. Balance, ask the other side of the story, parang ganun. Yes. So talagang even up to now when I'm working, I really have that kind of like values and like ethics.
Sa episode na to, samahan nyo kaming explore ang kakaibang pahimagas, ano ba ito at saan nagmula ang inutak. Welcome to the search of the Philippine Islands. Tara na!
Learn more about these regional delicacies and delicious sweets here on Desserts of the Philippine Islands. Catch all the episodes on our YouTube channel, Bitesized.PH.
Chef, nasabi nyo may background kayo with journalism and also music. So can we talk a bit about that? So paano kayo napadpad dun sa industry niya, and then how did you went from there going to the food industry?
Sa akin, yung journalism, it really started in school, diba, yung campus journalism and all that. Siguro when I was growing up, diba, like my parents had like their own collection of books.
Yes.
Collection of books. And nung bata pa kami, like toddlers, I shared the room with my brother, my younger brother. Pero later, medyo tumatanda kami, di na kami nagkakasundo sa kwarto, di ba? So I transferred to the other, which was the library.
Library, again.
So my room was practically like, a wall full of books and my bed and all that. So siguro, even when I was young, I was reading all these books, like whatever was there, like novels, psychology books, management books, or whatever books there were. So parang
that was your hobby back then nung bata ka?
Parang siguro kasi wala pa namang cable TV dati, di ba? Parang lack of a better thing to do, di ba? Like, siguro kung may cable, kung may Netflix dati, siguro puro Netflix ako, di ba? Dati, wala pang cable TV. Ang channel nun, parang 3 lang. Channel 13, Channel 9, and Channel 7. Kasi di ba, walang ABS kasi pinasara ng Marcos at that time din. Diba? Cartoons was only 1 hour every Saturday.
Wow, talaga? Okay.
Yeah, diba? So, parang ganon. So, ang entertainment, maglaro ka.
So, very limited lang talaga.
Limited talaga. As in, diba? You really do like your games outside. Then, you read. Or you draw. Or you do something. Diba? Mm-hmm. Pero wala talaga yung ganon luxury din. Yung laro pa dati. Yung game and watch pa. So, 3 button lang yun, di ba? Parang tennis, Snoopy na tennis, yun lang yung ganun lang talaga yung it's very simple, very, very like parang quiet
very
life.
Slow.
Very slow.
Yeah,
and I think also, because there is too much going on, kids have the space to develop the way they think.
Okay.
It's like, for example, like, I remember, like, I just was staring at the sky. Why is the sky that way? Why is that? You have the curiosity to probe. You have the time in the day just to observe like ants.
To see everything. Yeah.
Kinukuha niya yung... Kasi wala ka, di ba? Ang bata ngayon siya. Di ba, like, what do parents like to do? Like, wala kang bakanteng oras. Nakabook na yun sa ballet lessons, sa music lessons. Di ba? Like that, di ba? TV, social media, and all that. So, parang walang walang interior life, di ba?
Yes.
Your life is all external.
Oo.
Everything's happening outside. Pero sa loob mo, walang nangyayari. Parang patay yung loob mo kasi everything's like, showing up, di ba? Dealing with people,
Yeah.
trying to create an image and all that. So parang walang silence, walang quiet, walang sit still and breathe, enjoy the, parang smell the roses, parang ganun.
Yeah, kumbaga,
di ba?
you enjoy the small things. Wala.
Enjoy the small. So that's I come from a very different world, no? Like I'm revealing my age. Pero cut yun, Char. Di ba? Anyway, di ba, it's very interesting because even the values that we had is very different from the values people had right now. Like,
Yes.
di ba? Yeah, ngayon, di ba? Malilate yung tao. Ako late ako today, pero pansin mo, 4 hours before, I already said na
Yes, yeah.
I may be late today.
Kumbaga, may courtesy na.
Di ba ganun? Kasi this is happening right now.
Yes.
Dito sa Pilipinas, ngayon, sasabihin lang late nila, 1 hour late na sila.
Yes.
Then bago malilate ako, pero 1 hour na. Di ba? Totoo, di ba?
Lumipas na bago yung sabihin.
Di ba? So, obvious naman na late ka, di ba? Di ba? Late ka na, di ba? So, yan. At the end, hindi pa sisipot.
Oh,
di ba?
yes.
Courtesy is disregarded. So,
Yes.
parang ang layo ko na ng kwento, no? Pero my curiosity, my ability to, parang ask questions, di ba? To probe, to like figure things out, really allowed me to parang develop a different kind of mindset. A different way of thinking that parang serves me well at this time. Di ba? So, obviously, di ba, I started out, mas nag-start talaga ako of all the things I was doing. I really started out more of journalism. Di ba?
So, how many years yun, Chef?
Matagal-tagal din yun. Kasi, as a student, I was always editor-in-chief, both college and high school. And immediately, I was hired by the local paper. Pero before that, I also worked like part-time sa Office of the Mayor. I was
This is in Cebu.
in Cebu, like writing speeches, resolutions for
Yes.
the mayor, parang ganun,
Nice.
ganun. Then after they hired me sa newspaper, Sunstar, so I was like copy editor, and then I became like assistant, and I was like travel writing and doing photography.
Wow.
And all that. Kasi at that time, ngayon kasi digital, ako dati, social ako kasi film. Diba? So,
Hanggang ngayon, social pag film.
social yung film.
Yes.
And I used to do a lot of photography. I used a lot of photography. And siguro magaling naman siguro ako na photographer at that time. So I got to shoot a lot of like cover photos for magazines. I've done,
You said magazines, right? Did you focus on like the food side of the magazine or like literally anything yun? Like halo-halo yun?
There was a time I was shooting fashion.
Fashion talaga.
I was shooting fashion. I was shooting like journalism and all that. But I was also writing. I was doing travel, and parang ganun lang siya nag-start.
So it wasn't more of like food writing talaga. It was literally just
Wala talaga.
writing anything.
Pero I was always cooking at the back, di ba? I was like hosting people, cooking for them and all that. Then eventually I started a career in the music industry, but I was doing more of the marketing. To be clear, wala akong talent. Hindi ako marunong kumanta. I don't know how to play an instrument. So I was doing more of the marketing and the management side. Pero promotions. But I also got to direct like music videos and all that. So actually yung career ko kasi doon lasted for close to a decade.
Wow.
Pero
Tagal din.
it was also the time when piracy was at its peak. So we were already studying digitalization. Wala pang Spotify back then, o di ba? Old talaga. Pero we were already studying all these things like, so I'm very well, educated on copyrights, licensing, mga ganun na stuff. So, yun. Then eventually I took a break and I'm sick and tired of this industry. So I go, reflection. Meron akong parang soul searching, di ba? I said, ano ba yung, what am I good at? What am I best at? And I just knew in my heart that I was a pretty good cook. Di ba? So, pretty good, parang, ganun. So, started my career out of nowhere and all that.
Did you train, chef?
I did a few classes. Yeah, I did a few classes. Um, pero no, just started to unfold. Sabi ko, no, if it's really for me, it's going to happen. Pero alam mo, the journey is really like the journey towards where I am right now is parang very difficult to understand when you're in the middle of the
You're there,
road, diba?
basically, yes.
Kasi people say, you're putting your life to waste. Diba? Parang,
Yes.
diba, ano mo ginagawa? Parang di mo alam kung gagawin mo sa buhay mo. Parang ganun. Pero, imagine mo, if I didn't go through all that, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
Exactly.
Wherein all the competencies, all the lessons I've learned is very useful and is, in fact, a big advantage I have
Yes.
over the people
Yes.
in the industry. So, yun, sabi ko, talagang life is really a journey and you really have to like, stop and reflect. Check your yourself, no? Parang, is what I'm doing resonating to my life purpose? Is it aligned with my values?
Yes.
Is it aligned with what I want to do with my life? And sometimes you just have to make hard decisions and say, no, tapos na yung phase na to, move on to the next. Pero those experiences, even if you end that phase in your life, all those experiences, all the lessons that you've learned so far has already enriched you.
Yeah, exactly.
Diba?
Saka I think you wouldn't be able to connect the dots now. You will be connect the dots later pa. Which is I have to agree, chef. Learning based from what you've gone through, ang laki ng advantage mo knowing like the media sphere and basically writing. And now at least parang you're one of the chefs na talaga I would say future-proof a bit digitally going forward.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. Have you experienced any failures which you think
Failures, I'm a master of failures, diba? So parang sabi ko nga, I eat failure for breakfast. Diba? So parang, alam mo, if you come to think of it, like, it's all fail. Pero you just like fail at higher level so people think you're doing better.
Yeah.
Di ba nakikita mo, diba?
Gets, yeah.
Diba? So, parang ganun, like parang, I'm so immune to failure. Sabi ko, meron akong ginagamit na phrase before, like, I've failed into success. So, because I failed, I'm successful.
Agree.
Kasi, alam mo, yung, like now, in this day and age natin, there are a few people who are successful. Pero marami sa kanila chamba.
Yeah.
Di ba? They just fell into the trap. They just fell into the place na they're good looking, nag-viral yung video
Yes.
nila, and all of a sudden, they became so popular,
Yeah.
and they think that's it.
Parang naging shortcut lahat eh.
Shortcut lahat. That's lucky.
Yes.
Pero ang
Basically,
question
right
is,
place at the right time lang talaga sila.
exactly. But the question is, what if the wind changes?
Yes.
Will you be able to still get the attention of people? Will you still be able to
To sustain that.
sustain, keep your clients,
Yes.
diba? Make a livelihood out of it? It's a totally different, like even in the restaurant industry, diba? Ang daming, kasi sabi ko, wag na tayong mag-fall into the trap that we become so popular at the start, but after 6 months, wala nang kumakain sa resto mo. So I'd rather like creep into the consciousness of people, just take care of your clients, do a good job, then eventually you're celebrating your 3rd, 4th, 5th year.
Hindi mo mapapansin.
Hindi napapansin siya. Meron ka palang restaurant? Oh, meron. We're doing okay. Hindi na kailangan ng sobrang hype. Kasi I realize, kasi like, I know that in terms of popularity, I enjoy a very big advantage over the others. Pero if you check all my social media accounts, rarely do I promote my restaurants. I don't even like talk about it. I don't even like hype it up, diba? It's just there. It's just existing. And buhay naman yung mga restaurant. Di ba?
But they're standing on their own credit.
Kasi alam mo, once there's a transaction and people give you your money, they don't care who you are.
That's
so if you don't do a good job, wala saan pakialam, sikat ka, walang pakialam. Nakukulong nga yung mga celebrity, di ba? Di ba, di ba?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Actually.
Di ba?
Totoo naman.
So if you don't take care of the integrity of your own business, and if you don't do a good job, people don't care who you are.
Totoo.
Huwag tayo mag-ilusyon na kasi wala yan. Once there's a transaction, an exchange of money, and people are dissatisfied, they will call on you. Say, uy, lugi ako dito Bakit ganon?
Totoo.
Diba?
And at the same time, reputation of the restaurant itself is not just basically the person behind it,
Yes,
but basically
exactly.
the entity itself.
It's the
The
entity
restaurant.
itself, yeah.
So, Chef, right now you're operating 5 restaurants. Am I correct?
4
Restaurants right now. So that's basically the Tindeli,
Tindeli,
Asador,
Pandan Asian Cafe, and Lore.
Lore, okay.
Here in BGC.
Yung what happened to the private dining?
Private dining right now is taking a bit of a rest kasi we wanted to, kasi hindi naman siya meant to be a restaurant di ba? It was just like, it's a private space and parang, sige, pandemic, dito tayo muna, eskapo muna tayo. Pero at a certain point na parang,
And that's your private home din kasi, di ba, Chef?
yeah, it's a private rest house, yeah.
How busy is the Christmas rush compared to the previous years for you guys?
For me kasi, it's not as busy as it was last year. For 2 reasons. One, hindi ako nag-open ng restaurant this year. I decided not to open any restaurant. So that's one big load off my back. And secondly, I think we're more organized this year than last year. Diba? You always grow, diba?
Yes,
Things
you
become
learn.
better. So, ako kasi last year, we opened Tindeli and ano ba yun? Yan, Asador, basically. So, parang
Asador was early
bago.
last year po, tama?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, parang ganun yung vibe na, okay, sige, pahinga-pahinga muna. Yun, kasi, like, for example, sa akin, hindi siya contest Di ba? So, do what makes sense, do what works.
Chef, malaki ba ang difference, like example, per month against the other months of the year in terms of the food business?
For the food business, I think one of the biggest selling seasons really the Christmas season. Pero it's not Christmas Day, no? It's the entire month. But if you want to know the biggest selling day, it's not Christmas. It's Mother's Day. So because Christmas kasi it's divided across different days. Some people dine in small groups. Kasi, di ba, it's a season na people do reunions, gatherings, and all that. And some people parang spread out their activities throughout the week, di ba? So, parang ikot-ikot sila, no? Pero pagdating ng Mother's Day kasi, buos lahat, di ba? So, they go to a restaurant, everybody's there, and because mom's not cooking, so they give her a big treat.
Yes.
So, yun siya. Yun ang difference. So, even Valentine's Day does not compare to Mother's Day. Yeah.
So, Chef, ito talaga, it's like an industry thing or like mostly dun sa mga na-handle mong restaurant?
It's really an industry thing. It's really, I think that you really could base your projections on year after year after year performance, and we only compare this Christmas is doing better than 3 Christmases ago, or parang ganun yung comparison. But you really prepare, all the restaurants or even the retail shops really prepare for the holiday seasons na kailan yung bagsak ng 13-month and Christmas bonuses. So, you see people really spending.
Malaki kasing spending power ng tao normally, but this season.
Yeah.
That's interesting about Mother's Day. I mean, I didn't know about that. Kasi normally I do expect na parang busy talaga ang mga restaurants during the Christmas time. And that's an interesting fact.
Yeah. Because usually pag Noche Buena or Christmas Day, you spend it at home, di ba?
Yes.
Yeah. So, some restaurants even close on Christmas Day if you're not mall-based. Pero pag mall-based, you really have to open.
Interesting. But yan, hindi Father's Day, hindi rin nagaganon.
Ewan ko, parang, I think, di ba?
Medyo bias ata tayo
Bias,
sa
di ba?
mga
Pag Mother's Day talaga, buhos lahat, di ba? And I think pag Father's Day, the mothers cook eh. So, di ba?
Pwede,
Parang gano'n.
yes.
So, mom will cook something for dad, parang gano'n, will eat at home.
Since we're already in this topic, Chef, can you at least give us a small background on those 4 restaurants para sa mga hindi pa nakaka-try?
Okay.
Like,
So,
the inspiration behind it, what is it about?
Pandan Asian Cafe is Southeast Asian, no?
Okay.
So it's not a fusion restaurant. It's really hindi naman natin masasabing authentic kasi it's really mixed, no? But it really features the dishes of Southeast Asia. Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Cambodia. But what we try to do there is we try to replicate the original dishes from these countries.
Okay.
So if you go there, you eat a kare-kare. It's a very traditional Filipino kare-kare.
Okay.
And if you eat rendang, it's a very traditional Malaysian rendang. No? If you take a laksa, it's a very, very close to the curry laksa of Singapore. So it's really like, naisip ko kasi at that time na parang we have the same like biodiversity of these Southeast Asian regions. We use a lot of same ingredients. So they're like, no, parang magkapatid sila in a sense. So it really works together as a repertoire. No? So if you go there, it's more of the indigenous like Filipino. So we don't have the Spanish Filipino. So wala kaming kaldereta, wala kaming ganun. It's more of the ano yung babagay. So like there's peanuts in kare-kare, there's peanuts in satay, there's peanuts in... So, mas may sense yung connection and all the flavors. So, when you eat it together, parang it makes sense. Hindi siya yung parang, ang weird naman ito. Bakit may lengua with cream dito, then biglang merong pad thai. Di ba? It's not... So, it's the dishes are very... like
it's mostly like basta nag-harmonize with Southeast Asia.
So, it's the Southeast Asian flavors. So, that's
the longest running restaurant.
Yeah. Asador is Spanish. It's Spanish restaurant. So of course you have your paellas, your lenguas, your all that. So parang very different vibe. Lore naman is Filipino, but Filipino regional. So we have dishes from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. We have Insarabasab from Ilocos. We have Pianggang from Sulu. We have Kansi from Iloilo and all that.
So these are more the regional talaga.
Yeah. And ito ang lore is a bit medyo nasa upscale. Upscale. And we were first known to do like tasting menus and degustation. And in fact, we still do, but by reservation. We have like a hybrid setup because it's quite a big restaurant. It's like 100-seater.
Malaki.
So it's very difficult to run it entirely as a degustation restaurant. And it's also located in the mall, Juan Bonifacio High Street Mall. So that's doing very well. And we have Tindeli in Gateway Mall too, which is like a prototype. So we intend to like expand that like it's a Filipino deli. So Tindeli, tindahan at delicatessen. So that's the concept. So it's a fun like para siyang tindahan ni Arine na model, parang ganun siya. So it's just doing okay. No? So parang siguro my restaurants are also like parang connected to my being like a storyteller. Yes. No, it's not just like kasi putate ko ng restaurant, anong bebenta lahat, so dapat so ako it's
so
more,
it's a part of you, kumbaga.
It's a part of, there's really a story.
Behind
it's really a story, and the story is very well curated. The story is very well parang tuhog siya. Hindi siya yung basta lang na feel ko kasi creative ako, artist ako, ito yung gusto ko, wala akong ganun. So siguro that's the discipline I developed also with my background on journalism, di ba? And I also used to, when I was younger, I was doing literary din. I was writing poetry, mga ganun. Pero turned out I'm not a good poet. So, wala akong career dun. So, yeah.
Follow-up question is from Ralph. It's basically, how did you choose the countries to feature on your restaurant? Kasi parang iba-iba. Meron ka biglang Spanish, and then you have Southeast Asian, then we're focusing on Filipino.
I try to parang create like a central theme whenever I'm working. So what's the theme? What's the concept? What's the story of this restaurant? And you build elements around it. So the first part of the job is really very intellectual. It's a lot of research. It's like, oh, this does this make sense, diba? Diba? And also secondary, you also have to think of the engineering of the menu. Like, will I have too many ingredients involved in this restaurant that parang mahirapan ako to compose and parang maintain an inventory. So dalawa siya, conceptual and also technical in that
side,
sense, no. Pero kung tinatanong mo sa akin na natatakot ba ako, na-intimidate ba ako, wala akong pake. 'Di ba? Ang pake, 'di ba? You have to taste the food. You have to taste the food kasi ako dikit na dikit yung lasa. Like I was in Jakarta like a few weeks back and sa sige, titikman ko yung mga dishes that I serve in Pandan, and let's see if it measures up. Tikim. Medyo kahawig. Punta ko dun. Check mo yung recipe lahat. Ganun. Re-engineer. Tikim. Di, mas okay pa yung original. Hayaan mo na. Huwag mo nang baguhin. Kasi, when you do your research properly kasi, and you look not only on the recipe, but also the tradition and the history of certain cuisines, you will understand, parang reverse engineering.
Yes.
Bakit ganito yung ganito?
Yes.
Diba? So, it's very easy for me to replicate kasi ganun yung mindset ko eh. Ganun yung...
Sa base ka na magsimula.
Base talaga. Yan.
Yeah.
So, ang dali-dali lang ako. Tsaka, sobra kong mayabang ha. Makinig kayo, mayabang ako. Pero, I'm so intuitive. Sobra kong bilis. Like, for example, the pandan menu, natapos ko like in a week.
That's fast.
In a week, ganun. Then, kasi, eto siya. If you are a chef, and sobra mong believe sa sarili mo, and you think that your recipe is perfect, may problema ka.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the way to do it? You create a base recipe. Test it in the market. Who will finally approve your recipe? It's not you. It is your market.
The market itself, yeah.
You will always constantly seek feedback, listen, and adjust.
Okay, got it. Yes, totoo.
Once there is a harmony between your recipe and your market, it means that you have achieved the perfect recipe. It is not me. So, latag mo na, test mo na. Ito, gagawin ko to. Right? Test. Alam na some restaurants, I have partners, ha? Tasting? Huwag kayong taste. Ako lang maglalabas dito. Because it's not you who will approve. Mm-hmm. It's the market who will approve. Ang hirap kasi, the problem kasi, with working with people, I don't have that problem, ha? Clear, wala akong problem na gano'n. Pero a lot of young chefs, diba, they work with investors, they work with parang people who want to be in the restaurant industry, they don't know but they have money. Papasok sila. Tasting. No, kasi ang daming opinion. So the chef doesn't know where to take the recipe kasi one owner wants to take it this way, the other owner wants to take it another way. So what happens? Basura.
Yeah.
Di ba totoo basura? Kasi ikaw mismo, you're not following your instinct, you're not following your intuition. Pag tinikman mo, hindi ka na nasasarapan.
Totoo. Kasi hindi na sa'yo yun eh. I mean, hindi na yung...
Hindi na siya true.
Yes.
Because what makes a restaurant stand out or what makes a dish stand out is really a clear perspective from the chef.
On what it is.
Diba? If you try to be so generic and so like to the others, wala na mangyayari.
There will be no difference.
No difference. So for me, ganun yung style ko. Put out. Pag ayaw, palitan natin. Diba?
No.
And adjust the recipe. And I still consider all the recipes in all my restaurants a work in progress.
No.
And if I realize
nice
now,
mindset, chef.
and if I realize now, because I have a younger audience, and what I used to do 5 years ago does not resonate with them anymore, I would ask a question: how would this market like this particular dish?
Yes, ganda.
Diba?
Especially with the food scene right now, it's ever evolving.
And also because I'm with social media, I'm really up to date with what's going on. Sometimes kasi they're like people, they're restaurateurs, are pure restaurateurs, and probably they're French trained, they're like have formal education.
Very technical.
They're very technical. And they're so dead set at doing what they learned 20, 30 years ago.
Yes, madaming ganun, chef. Yeah.
So mahirap. So parang, you have to be fluid, di ba? If you're not open-minded, if you're not innovative enough, mapapabayaan ka ng panahon.
May iwan din.
Maiiwan ka talaga,
Exactly.
maiiwan ka talaga.
Especially, yun nga, very competitive ang food business.
Very
ngayon.
competitive.
Very,
And ako, like for example, everyone's a chef. Hello, chefs! Everyone is a chef. Di ba?
Yes.
Paano yun? How do you stand out? Di ba? How do you resonate? It's really your authenticity, di ba?
Hi, I'm Inka Bagnaye.
I'm Abby Marquez.
Hi, this is Julie.
Hi, this is Raver.
I'm Radson Flores.
Hi, I'm Makoy Dubs, and this is 8 List Slam Book.
8 List Slam Book.
8 List Slam Book.
8 List Slam Book.
8 Lists Slam Book.
Get to know more about your favorite celebrities and personalities. Head on to 8list.ph YouTube channel and tune in to Slambook.
What's one thing you've seen change over the years in the food business since you first started?
Alam mo, ang dami ng magagaling ngayon. I acknowledge that the younger generation, ang daming magagaling. Ang daming magagaling. Ang daming marurunong. Di ba? Very well educated. You know, like, let's say 10 years back, and people, chefs na, who were already chefs back then, alam mo, sa Manila before, hindi pang alam masyado ng mga regular market kung ano yung balsamic vinegar. Like, truffle oil was just like, kakasimula lang dito maging available at that time, no? Di ba? So, pag kinain, magsaserve ka na, sabi ng client, ano ba to? Lasang gasolina. Di ba? Ano ba to? Ang asim-asim dito, di ba? Ganon. Yung mga sun-dried tomatoes, they weren't that much available. But right now, my God, di ba? Grabe yung mga critic, di ba?
Yes.
From technical to all that. And it's really interesting that culinary and education has really changed. The internet has changed because manood ka lang ng Netflix, di ba? Culinary Wars, and after mag-review yung mga vloggers, parang wow, grabe na mga commentary, di ba? Di ba? So parang it's true na sobra nilang galing. And of course, the skills level has grown. But what also has changed are the values of the people. So people just don't work as hard. People are like, think that being able to speak and discuss and describe things makes them competent.
Yeah.
So, yun ang difference. Diba? Sige, yabang-yabang, magluto ka nga.
Madami na kasi naging outspoken masyado.
Oo, ganun. Sobrang grabe. Pero it's so interesting. I will tell you, there are a lot of studies with regards to that. No, medyo nerdy side ko to. So, there are studies kasi like in the year 2030, 50% of the population of the Philippines will be composed of around single individuals below the age of 30.
Okay.
So there will be a lot more pet owners than parents.
Okay.
Diba? Secondly, dining will change because there will be more people who would be like dining in small groups and in solo diners.
Okay.
Number 3, there will be a growing number of underemployed, highly educated people with low income.
Oh.
And there's listen guys, pero sinasabi nila na I was talking with a venture capitalist from Singapore. He's based in Singapore, but we met in Jakarta. Usap-usap na sabi niya, based on their studies, like the biggest employer of the youth, the young educated urban professionals will be delivery service.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Because industries are not growing in the Philippines, diba? So it will be basically like a service-driven industry, and so malay natin baka Grab and Lalamove the biggest employer sa Pilipinas, no, to get things around. And because of a lower income bracket, a higher education, the market will be extremely demanding, critical of food service,
Yes.
but demanding cheap products.
Products. Okay. So medyo contradicting. lang
Contradicting.
yun.
So
Yes.
what we will soon see in the near future, people, vloggers, criticizing fast foods or convenience store like they're eating in a Michelin restaurant with a 7-Eleven budget.
Budget. Okay. That's nice. That's an interesting.
So that's
story.
very
That is
interesting.
an
That's
interesting
why
insight.
that's why even if makikita mo sa probinsya, 'di ba, when you're doing restaurants, casual sila. Tatakaw, ba't may pa-twill-twill sila? Ba't may pa-edible flowers?
Yes.
'Di ba?
Yes.
So they're trying to up the aesthetic of their plating, but they are unable to improve the quality of
The
the food itself because of limited ingredients. Right now, if we're talking of food quality in the Philippines, it's very difficult. Why? We are not a very strong agricultural country.
Yes.
Since a lot of our food served in the restaurants are now imported. Yesterday, I just read a news article that we are importing like 80,000 metric tons of galunggong. So galunggong natin imported
Oh
na.
my God.
So
Even
yung
our
ma-
salt is imported.
Salt. Our salt, we import over 80% of our salt
Yes.
from China and Australia. And everything now is imported, our rice and all that. That's why the cost of goods is more expensive in the Philippines, pero yung buying capacity is
Very low.
very low.
Yeah. Hindi siya sumasabay.
Hindi siya sumasabay. Pero ang tatalino dahil sa TikTok.
Oh.
So, di ba, how do you reconcile that, di ba?
Actually.
Oh, the beef is not well marbled, ganyan, di ba? Ganun, di ba? Oh.
Chef, with this insight, where do you see the food scene going in the next few years? Yeah. Do you see
Bold statement or conservative?
bold?
Bold
Say
statement. Convenience stores will take over the food scene because of bigger reach in terms of number of outlets. A lot of Filipinos will be eating meals out of the convenience store, and this will greatly threaten the expansion of fast foods which have limited offerings.
For you, well, I'm sure you're not competing with this naman, but how do you adjust to it with your food business then?
For me, it's just to find your niche, because there will always be a niche for you, and because I'm unable to expand as much as this, having a very clear perspective, having a very clear concept, taking care of your quality and taking care of your clients will allow you to sustain your business. Because in the age of AI, human interactions will be more important. So focus on service, focus on taking care of talent, will be very important in sustaining your business. Kasi ang kaagaw mo ngayon ng good talent are the big companies. Diba? So how do you entice young, talented, passionate individuals to work with you compared to working with other companies here and abroad?
Chef, what would be your advice to any up-and-coming restaurateur or restaurant owners who'd like to get into the food scene business?
I think you have to take a long and hard look at, why you want to be in this industry. It's not easy, di ba? I'm not trying to scare anyone, pero it's one of the most difficult businesses to be in. It's the most laborious jobs you can find, the most time-consuming. Proof ako, wala akong buhay, trabaho lang. Di ba? Seriously, di ba? How do you make it work? So, unlike before, kasi during my time or a bit earlier, ang daming room for you to grow and expand and to get noticed.
Yes.
And now, because there are just too many in competition, and secondly, there are too many people having access to social media. It's so noisy. You have to be extremely talented, extremely driven, extremely well funded to make it. So, isip talaga. If you fit the criteria and you think that you have what it takes, laban. Pero, be sure, kaya mo siyang ilaban ng matagalan because success won't come easy, success won't come fast.
So now let's talk about your content, chef, which is basically Simpol. Now, sabi niyo, chef, you're as much as possible you're trying to, differentiate the brand
Yeah.
itself. So Simpol basically your your
cooking
the
and all
core
that.
aspect, and then the chef tato, it's more of the lifestyle. Would you say?
The lifestyle and all that. Kasi it's really difficult. Kasi like a lot of I do a lot of stuff, no. And sinasabi ko nga yung followers ko is masasabi natin from all walks of life, no. So parang sinasabi ko nga from the penthouse to the pedestrian lane may nakakakilala. No. So parang it's pretty mainstream. But it's also very difficult kasi of course, diba, at the time of my career, I was doing really high-end stuff, diba? Madrid fusion, mga ganyan,
Yes,
diba?
yes.
Degustations and all that. Pero, on the other hand, naging regular din ako ng umagang kay ganda. So parang napaka-schizophrenic ng aking world, diba? Like, for example, I'm sure you didn't expect me to be talking about the topics we're talking and all the insights and information I have. Pero I'm basically a nerd.
Okay.
I'm very nerdy in that sense. Pero very few people know that, di ba? They think, ay, chef, that's simple.
Siya yung laging fun na nagluluto online and everything.
So, parang, sabi ko parang, ang hirap din sometimes. Ang hirap din sometimes na parang people are confused of you seem like a split personality.
Yeah, kung ano ba talaga si chef?
Diba? Chef, diba? You're serious, you're talking about all this mga history and all that, and biglang kang sobrang of course, masa, diba? So parang, sige, let's try to like, kasi one market might compromise the other. So now we're trying to really differentiate. When you talk of Simpol, it's just like straightforward. Recipes. So we don't do any other kind of features and all that. But for Chef Tatung, we're doing a lot of other things. So what I do in the restaurant, what I do elsewhere, more than anything else, being a chef, being a content creator, I'm also a businessman.
Yes.
I also am, CEO and president of a media company, which is Vertical Creatives. So that's a totally different personality, diba? So parang, it's so
something hindi normal nakikita ng tao.
people don't see that boss executive
Of an agency, technically, yes.
diba? So have to make a lot of decisions, to presentations, meet with ganyan. So parang okay, I just have to like find my parang middle ground.
Yes.
So for Vertical Creatives, not only do we handle we manage both social media accounts. We also service some clients and all that. But we're also a publishing company.
Okay.
So
under publishing, that is Simpol.
That is simple. That is simple. And so far, we've managed to grow our catalog already. So not only do we do editorial, we also do distribution, marketing, and all that. So we also handle logistics sa mga ganyan. So parang it's a lot. It's a lot of things, and we also have a commissary.
For Vertical Creatives, you're fully on food. Isn't yun yung parang difference from other agencies, right?
Yeah.
Mostly
We're
focused on food.
Mostly focused on food clients. So production, we do R&D, we do editorial, we do all those kind of things, no? Social media. So parang ganun. So that comprises like more than a certain % of my time. Pero it's also difficult because I'm also on-cam talent of the
Lahat na.
agency. So, di ba?
All in all.
So, pagdating ng shoot, sila yung boss ko. Pero pagdating ng kuwan, ako yung boss nila,
Yes.
di ba? Parang ganun. So, ayusin mo yun. It's a bit complicated. It's a bit complicated. Pero, I'm very even-tempered. So, I think having to handle all this, I'm so used to handling so much pressure and troubleshooting that I'm really very even-tempered. So it's very difficult to catch me in a bad mood.
Bad mood. That's nice.
It's very difficult to catch me. So I'm like, every day, ganun na ako. So, parang, of course, sometimes uminit yung ulo ko, pero
Definitely.
snap back. Kasi I'm so used to it, di ba? Like for example, like, di ba? Ito, may meeting ka, intense meeting, finance and all that. Then biglang, chef, hello!
Yes.
Ganun na parang, di ba? You're so used to switching
from the different types of...
So parang, ngayon, what I do, I try to be equanimous about everything. Na parang, okay, neutral ako. May problema, neutral. Happy, neutral.
Nonchalant.
So it's very easy for me to shift to
yeah.
different, rather from one extreme to the other. Yun.
So, Chef, how did you start Simpol?
Oh, simple.
And why did you start it?
Nakita ko na, long before that, digital would be the next big thing. Like, we started Simpol mga 8 years ago.
8 years.
8 years ago. Panahon pa yun ng biglang usok-uso yung molecular gastronomy. Di ba?
Mga
So, caviar, mga pausok-usok, and all that.
Smoke guns.
Guns and all that. Pero sabi ko, of course, being young, you do all those things. Pero pag uwi mo sa bahay, ang sarap ng tapsilog. Di ba? Ang sarap ng adobo, di ba?
Lugaw.
Di ba? Parang, pag pinili ako, ravioli ba yung kakainin ko? Tsaka adobo ako, bakit pag ravioli, di ba? Di ba, gets mo, di ba? So, parang, at the time, ngayon kasi, like, a lot of, like, younger chefs are doing, like, degustation, and they're gaining so much attention globally for, you know, a lot of awards. That's very good. Pero, at that time, when we started, wala, hindi pinapansin, di ba? If you didn't do Western cuisine, you're not a chef. Di ba? Pag Western cuisine ka, chef ka.
Yes.
Pag Filipino cuisine ka, kusinero ka.
Kusinero.
Ganun lang ka-clear.
Simple.
So, obviously, I was really trying to do a lot of Western stuff, mga ganyan. Pero, sabi ko, oh man, masarap naman ng Filipino. What's wrong with Filipino food? So, that's when I started my journey, doing a lot of research, no, yung publishing books and all that. Pero, it was also the time na at the peak of chefs complicating things. Sabi ko, hindi, simple lang kasi ikaw nagluluto ka sa bahay, balak mo bang maging chef? You're not cooking to become a chef. You just want to eat good food, di ba?
Exactly.
And that's also very aligned with my advocacy of sustainability and food security na bakit mayaman lang ba pwede kumain ng masarap, di ba? Hindi naman, di ba? So, yun ang essence of what I'm doing. That's why during the pandemic, a lot of people appreciated the fact that using simple ingredients, toyo, patis, may kangkong, may tokwa, may ganun. Nakakagawa ka ng dishes na not the usual, but, you know,
Yeah, simple.
simple. Pero nagugustuhan ng pamilya, di ba?
What's your favorite episode so far? Meron ka bang... I'm pretty sure may close to the heart ka, pero
Wala.
they have one
Wala.
specific,
They're just too many. They're just too many. Parang, wala lang. As in, wala. Just keep on. Ako kasi, I'm the sort of person kasi I'm not attached to achievements. I'm not attached. So parang, like, we had a meeting with management meeting. So, a few weeks ago. Sabi siya, so, wala naman lang ko may na-achieve tayo, may award time. Wala nga pa celebration, ganun. So, ako, nafe-feel ko naman yung staff ko na ganun yung feeling kasi they worked hard,
Yes.
may award, may ganun. So, pero, iniisip ko, ang liit lang yun na achievement. Ako, siguro I just have too high standards for myself na parang, di pa yan. Like, for example, may award ako today. The next day, wala na. I'm striving again to work hard na parang, I don't like looking at past achievements. Parang didiri ako. Parang, nagki-cringe ako.
Yeah. Parang
Hindi,
kumbaga hindi siya...
hindi pa yun perfect eh. Hindi pa yun perfect. Kailangan ko lang to ilabas kasi deadline na eh. Kung I have more time, I would do something much better. So, ganun yung mindset ko. So,
ganda.
never do I stop like trying to push things forward and all that. So, siguro, yun lang siguro yung it's a generational thing probably again na parang it's delayed gratification.
Yes. So
No?
parang naging normal yung standard
Oh.
kasi it's,
Oh.
parang when you deliver, it's supposed to be always that way.
Oo, always that way. And tsaka, it's not
Nothing
because there's
special.
a reward. It's because that's who you are and that's the way
You work, basically.
I work,
Yeah.
di ba? So, parang, iba lang yung ethics na like, for example, I remember like, our generation when we were doing projects, kahit hindi matulog, kahit hindi umuwi,
Totoo.
we really, talagang, no, hindi to pwede, hindi ako papayag na lalabas to na hindi. Ngayon kasi parang, time na, uwi na ako. Adjust lang yung deadline kasi hindi ko abot yung deadline. It's very different, di ba? Di ba? Ganun.
Yeah.
Tapos,
Adjustable
di naman,
lahat.
di naman ako may-ari ng kumpanya. Di naman ako ganun. Pero, ang point ko kasi, hindi kasi you do it for yourself. You don't think of it as a job. It's your career because if you do things excellently, you become greater than the job.
Yes.
Di sabi ko
More
sa
than that.
kung magaling ka, kahit saan ka itapon, pwede kang
Totoo.
itapon. Kasi sabi ko yung, like for example sa akin, di ba, I run restaurants and I tell the chefs, dear, ang role ko dito, kunwari lang ako chef. I'm just a figurehead. You have to run it. Or else if I go back to the kitchen, wala ka ng trabaho.
Oo,
Ano
totoo.
pa yung gamit mo kung ako magpapatakbo niyan, di ba?
Yes.
So do a good job.
Yes.
Di ba? Sabi ko sila, ikaw, nandito ka na, katrabaho na kita, galingan mo na.
Totoo.
Kasi dala mo yung pangalan ko, kasi pag lipat mo, mag-hire ka, ganun, papahiya ka lang doon. Ako din mo masisira, ikaw naman masisira. They're just going to remove you. Do you think they care?
Yes. Kasi standard mo yung deep
Standard
inside na
eh.
yun Yeah,
Di ba?
exactly.
So, imagine mo, nakatrabaho na kita, ang ending mo, pupunta ka pa rin sa fast food. Kasi you did not adopt the skills, the work attitude, the ethics, and all that. Because people really judge you on your body of work. It's not about, di ba,
Kung saan ka nanggaling.
resume, mabango lang naman yan na, di ba?
Yes, exactly.
Pag-apply mo, di ba? Kung babalikan mo yung lahat ng empleyado, saan yung sinabi mo, takes criticism positively?
Oh.
Saan yung comes to work on time? Sana yun, di ba? Reliable when there's, di ba? Sana yun, di ba?
Parang nawala.
Wala naman pala, di ba?
Sinulat
Diba?
lang.
Di ba? So ultimately, no matter what's on paper, what really will really parang reveal your person and your talent is your work, how you perform.
For you, chef, nung start mo tong Simpol, what was your vision of success?
Modesty aside, we really want to make Simpol a global brand. We want to make it a global brand. Na, in fact, the recognition of Simpol is very high, no? In some areas, United States, Canada, Middle East, and all that. So it's just a very strong brand recall and very strong, di ba? Pero obviously, from where we are right now to where we want it to be, sobrang layo pa.
Okay.
Sobrang layo pa. So, we're trying to build little by little. We're trying to refine the way we're doing things. Pero, malayo pa. Pero, I think, like this cookbook, ito,
Yes.
Simpol
Yes,
cookbook.
talk about the cookbook.
This Simpol cookbook won, like, international awards, di ba? And, for a recent cookbook, I think, this is the biggest seller in the last 10 years, biggest seller in the last
Wow.
decade, because
see
it's
the
now 3 years old, but we're already on our 10th printing. And to think that people don't read books and it's already like close to 100,000 copies
Yes.
sold, that's not.
I think cookbook is making a comeback. Parang feeling ko madaming tao ngayon, they're really
I think
buying
that's
into cookbook.
that's the new prestige.
Yes.
Di ba? Like before na, if you have a restaurant, now, lahat na lang may restaurant, di ba? Dati may TV show dahil sa YouTube, tsaka everybody can have TV show.
yeah.
Now, it's books because it's very expensive
It is.
to produce books,
right?
di ba?
So, chef, let's run through about this. You have right now, I think, 5 on the market.
Right now.
You have 3 here, but I think you have 5.
I
You have the Baking
3,
Simpol din.
Baking Simpol. Yung dalawa kasi is out of print. 3 is out of print. I published around 7 books already.
7 books already.
7 books
Right
already.
now in the market is we have this.
We have 3. The rest are still being sold out. Sold out yung Baking Simpol and yung Kitchen Secrets.
Yes, that
and
one, Kitchen
yeah.
Secrets. And then you have an upcoming.
Book.
Which one will be released?
Hopefully very soon. So we're just like technical stuff going on. Pero it's called Simply Simpol. And hopefully very, very soon it will be out in the market. But for next year, I have like 3 cookbooks
In line.
in line.
Can you give us a bit of preview kung yung mga
The
i-release
one
na
book
doon?
is my first book. It's Philippine Cookery from Heart to Platter, which won first place in the World
Yes,
Gourmand
yun,
Awards.
yeah.
No? And it's basically like culinary history.
Pero that one is not classified as simple ba? Tama?
No,
Hindi
it's
pa,
not
hindi pa
simple. It's not
Talagang
simple.
yung book
That
yun
was
talaga
that
yun.
was my first one. So I really started my career more of the serious, intellectual,
Deep
parang
dive, mga something like that, yes.
Well, na biglang naging geologs. Diba?
Ay, yung masa.
Biglang naging masa. Di ba? So, ano nangyari? Pero, well, so, imagine mo, di ba? Pero, yun, so we're releasing that book next year.
This year. Okay.
So it's all under my company right now, Vertical Creatives. So yun, parang then also I have another one. It's releasing. I think it's going to be released in the US. It's called Simpol.
Wow.
So it's like all
Nice.
Filipino recipes made easy for an international market. And I have another book para siyang parang words of wisdom and parang ganun.
Talaga,
So,
chef?
yes,
Okay.
parang siyang ganun. So I don't know how it's gonna turn out, pero
Ano po title nun? Parang ano?
Wala
pa.
wala pa kaming title. So
Pwede
it's-
ba yung parang itanong mo kay Tatong mga
Oo, ganun yung
Yung
tanong
mga-
mo kay Tatung, pero
parang
ganun.
ano,
So,
pwede bang
I don't
ano,
know.
suggestion lang
Oo,
siguro
yeah,
baka
sige.
magamit.
So parang ganun. So we're trying to do a lot of stuff na parang I still feel like parang I'm not even 50% of what I can do.
Yeah.
So
And what
I'm
you
still
want to
like,
achieve.
parang sobrang like I'm still more driven. I still have more energy than my staff who's half my age.
What makes you inspired?
No one can outwork me. No one can outwork me.
That's a nice mindset.
No one can outwork
So
me.
what motivates you, chef? Since yun yung sinasabi mo. Right?
Bills to pay. Di ba?
I guess,
The best
yes.
motivation ever.
Yes, definitely.
Diba?
Bills to pay.
Pero,
Maano talaga.
alam mo, sa akin kasi, it's really like, ako kasi, hindi kasi ako materialistic na tao. Like,
Okay.
sabi siya, ano bang gusto mong bilhin? Bakit ka nagtatrabaho ng ganyan? For me kasi, I think the highest form of happiness is derived from being able to do and work on your passion.
Agree.
That is where true happiness is. So, ako, even if I become so rich, I will still be doing this because I love what I'm doing.
Enjoying it.
Diba? So, parang, like, diba, ang daming vloggers. Oy, dami nila. Diba? Vloggers, diba? Flex, bili ng ganito, bili ng ganito. So, di naman nagre-resonate sa akin. Tinatanong ko sa mga staff ko siya, bakit wala akong ganyan? Bakit wala akong Louis Vuitton na bag? Wala akong ganyan. Tsaka sabi naman ko, di mo na alam yan eh.
Okay, stop. At least honest sila, chef. At least honest
Wala
sila.
ka nung pakay dyan eh. Wala talaga. Like, I wouldn't even recognize like designer brands, di ba? Parang ganun. So parang, wala talaga. It's not something that really like, parang, I don't feel I'm losing out because di naman siya part ng aking consciousness.
Yes. Di talaga siya yung trip mo eh.
Hindi siya yung trip ko. So, I'd like to publish more books, diba? So, my God. If I could publish books from other authors, I would do that, diba? Produce documentaries for other people, I would do that. Pero limited. So, for me, what I'm doing right now is really a means to an end.
Yeah.
Welcome to Flavors of the Region, where we take you to delicious culinary spots here in the Philippines. Tara, let's explore Tagaytay, Batangas, Bacolod, Iloilo, Pampanga, Quezon City, and Davao. Kain tayo!
Catch all the episodes of Flavors of the Region on our YouTube channel, Bitesized.PH.
Outside from cooking, chef, ano ba yung iba niyong hobbies? Yan.
Hobbies. Wala akong hobby.
Yeah, wala ka. Oy, right. Ibang question yun. Ibang question.
Ako naman, yung sa akin kasi, like, I'm so boring. I'd watch TV and read. Siguro matanda na ako siguro, di ba? Not a good thing to say. Pero parang hindi na ako nag-enjoy ng... I enjoy travel sometimes, pero ako kasi parang I don't have that much luxury of time to
travel talaga.
To travel.
And deep dive.
So sa akin kasi like mamaya na yan pag 'di ba kung magbabakasyon ako diretso isang buwan na. Gets mo 'di ba?
Gets.
Unlike like every week na gagawin. Kasi napapagod ako. Ako kasi papunta mo pa lang, pagod ka na. Pagdating mo doon sa lugar, papahinga ka. Di isang araw, di ba? Pabalik ka, papagod ka na, di ba?
Yes.
So balik ko, sige, 1 month na lang ako na mag-travel.
Vacation
So,
talaga.
that's just what I do. So occasionally, once a year or once in 2 years, I go to
A full vacation mode.
Full vacation mode. As it's up, walang gugulo sa akin.
Do you have any dream destination to explore in terms of countries and also food?
Right now, what I really want to do, ito siya, this is my dream for next year. I really want to unload. Personally, I want to unload my operation functions. I want to unload my administrative functions. And next year, magiging content creator na lang ako. Then I'll just travel around and just document and probably write a book about it for an entire year.
Nice.
That's
sounds
like
fun.
That's one thing I'd like to do. So, I'm already talking with my team. Ano kakayanin ba na ito yung gagawin? How do we shift things? Pero ako kasi once you invest time in meaningful and worthwhile activities, mas malaki yung balik.
Yes.
Diba? Kasi of course, you can make a masterpiece and say you're doing it sideline. Di ba tama, di ba?
Ito.
So, talagang paglalaan mo talaga ng panahon at oras.
Meron ka bang specific na destination, chef? Or gusto mo locally muna?
We're doing, for sure, like, last year pa namin dapat umiikot kami ng Asia eh. Asia, meron na dapat, may schedules pa. Move, kasi may deadline, may ganito, ganyan. So, we want to do Philippines. Like, we launched a new series called Flavorful Escapes. Hindi namin ma-release, hindi namin malabas kasi parang hindi pa siya right time. Ang dami na, nakashoot kami ng 3 episodes and all that. Hindi pa namin malabas. Hindi pa siya right time na I really want to be able to do things, especially now that I'm fully immersed and there's that authentic and insightful experience to it rather than being a narrator. So I don't want to be a narrator. I don't want to be like
VO lang.
VO and cataloging siya. We are now here at this historic. After that, lilipad kami ng ibang lugar.
Yes.
So hindi mo na feel, hindi mo na So sabi ko, hindi na siya nagme-make sense sa akin kasi kung pakitang tao ka lang nagta-travel ka, parang pinagod mo lang ako, di ko naman na-enjoy. Di ba? So that's what I'm also telling my team right now na parang, I also want to now enjoy a bit of quality of life rather than, just doing it for the heck of doing it just to show na, nag-shoot siya ng ganito Korea, nag-shoot siya ng ganito. Pero 3 araw, then wala ka ng tulog. Call time mo, 4:00 ng umaga, then matatapos ka ng shoot 11:00. Di ba, wala ka ng, hindi mo na-enjoy yung place, di ba? So, parang, trabaho nalaga. So, no, let's slow down. Perhaps by slowing down, we'll be able to achieve more. Kasi you waste less.
Yes.
Di ba? Kasi pag masyadong marami kang wrong decisions, marami kang wrong. So, slow down. Let's be more careful. Let's be more, mindful of everything we do para we are able to, di ba, kahit hindi ka naman yumaman, sumaya ka naman.
Exactly. What Pinoy food do you think best represents Filipinos?
Ang hirap. Pero I think that would be like an adobo.
Adobo lover ba kayo?
I love adobo. I can eat adobo every day.
Finally. Alam mo, chef, lahat ng mga tao halos puro sinigang people. Ako lang adobo tao dito eh. So, I love adobo.
I think sinigang kasi is a very Tagalog dish. Yes. So if you say Filipino, I don't think it best represents. Kasi kung pupunta ka sa Visayas, asim naman. Ano ba yan? Yes. Pero ako, I love sinigang. I grew up having sinigang. So parang, for me, hindi siya perfect representation of Filipino.
Adobo. Nice. Yeah. Love it. Follow up na rin dito. Is it your favorite Filipino food? Would you say adobo, or you have a different Filipino food?
Ako adobo. Like I still crave adobo. I'd go adobo over kare-kare. I'd go adobo over name it and I'd go adobo.
Anong klaseng adobo, chef?
Ha?
Anong klaseng adobo?
Gusto ko yung adobo na medyo nag-reduce siya ng konti. So the sauce is very intense.
Yeah.
Diba? Perfect yung balance ng alat at saka asim. But I also like the Cebuano adobo. It's fried, di ba? Siyang lechon kawali na malasa. I'd like that occasionally, but I'd still go back to adobo and baboy. So, gusto ko ng chicken pork adobo, pero yung kakainin ko, yung baboy lang na part. Kasi masarap yung salsa with the chicken pork, di ba? Yan.
Tapos yung gusto mo buhay magmamantika. Ako gusto mo
magmamantika. Yan.
Tapos tutong na kanin.
Yan.
Sarap na, di ba? Okay, go to comfort food. Do you have like a different go-to comfort food?
Fast food eh.
Fast food talaga.
Di ba? So, di ba, restaurants, di ba? Like, yung ginawa ko sa like, one of the parang things I did in my restaurant is parang, kasi gusto ko ng ganitong dish. I like this dish. I like this cuisine. Gawa ko, lagay ko sa menu. But once it's there, ayoko nang kainin.
Yeah, kasi
Ayoko
nandun na siya
diba?
eh.
Ayoko
Sasawa ka na.
Diba? For example, Asador, paella, very good paella. Parang,
Umay.
pa-deliver burger. Diba, ganon. Diba? At saka, for me kasi like, it's a default for me because I don't like thinking. Parang, I will not waste my energy thinking of basic stuff. That's why I'm always wearing a white polo. Ay, kung mag-isip, anong susuot ko bukas? Diba? Ganon.
What's a generic Chef Tatung fast food order? Kahit walang brands.
Walang brand. A cheeseburger, fries. Alam nila, shake, walang iba. Yeah. And occasionally, not really chicken. Yan, as in
Burgers
burger
talaga
and
siya.
fries.
Burgers
Yan, yeah.
With all your experiences in the restaurant business, what do you think is the most hassle and challenging in running it?
Inventory control. Diba? Purchasing, how to make sure that you have your ingredients just in time when they're at their peak stage, that your tomatoes are perfectly ripe, and you don't, diba? You don't over order that tomorrow it's going to be lata or whatever. That's one thing. But also now, what's very challenging is also customers, dealing with customers. That customers right now are very demanding, and we have customers who like even parang they just want to have their story out in public, like even if the issue has been resolved within the restaurant, they still would like other people to know. So parang I think we have like there's that vindictiveness, and like there's that sort of parang masyado pa victim.
Do you think nag-a-apply pa rin yun? So basically, in any business, I would say, the customer is always right. With a lot of entitled people and outspoken people now in social media.
I think the key really is also for establishments to establish their own parameters. The young and newer establishments are so eager to please their market kasi wala nga sila masyadong customer pa, di ba? So they would do anything just to please the customer. Kahit sometimes lugi na sila or unreasonable kasi they are desperate in looking for customers. So it creates that illusion to customers na it's okay na ganun yung treatment. I think there just has to be a balance because I think like I had an experience wherein we had like guests who just walk out and didn't pay. And, kahit iharap mo pa si chef sa akin, gumaganon pa. Kilala ko daw, di ko naman kilala. Di ba? Then, mga ganong klaseng drama ba and all that, then how do you deal with that?
Yes.
How do you deal with that? Of course, yung is it fair for our servers to face that kind of people? Hindi naman fair sa kanila na mabastos sila, di ba?
Exactly.
So, I think respeto lang, no.
With all your success in the food business, in your social media, do you think you've found your purpose already?
I found my purpose long ago. Pero to speak of success, hindi pa siya. Parang nakakahiya na sabihin na I am already successful in what I'm doing. Kasi I feel that parang I'm still in my, as a businessman, as a restaurateur, I'm still in my adolescence. Diba? Na parang kakatapos ko lang ng mga playful na mga adventures, di ba? Parang gano'n. Parang, no, I know better. So, parang, it's just like recently, masasabi ko na, I know what I'm doing. Alam ko itong ginagawa ko. I know how to turn things around. I know how to fix things. I know what I shouldn't do, I should do. So, for me, right now, I feel that I am at a new level, a new stage, but I am at the lowest part pa. So, parang, my success will come siguro in the next 5 years or so. So right now, hindi pa siya. Parang pumasa lang ko ng high school.
So basically for you,
don't over-celebrate. Don't over-celebrate. Be glad, be thankful. But don't over-celebrate. Kasi high school pa lang siya.
So chef, what's next for you in the next coming years?
What's next for me? I think I'll be more of a businessman. Parang I'm really like training and developing people to handle more of the creative stuff, to handle more of the, the fun stuff we used to do. Diba? Kasi I think, I really want to be, I think my calling really is to become a mentor. Okay. Then I feel that, feeling ko lang, I don't know, pero I think that I'm quite a good mentor to my staff. So I want to, guide them and teach them and all that. Parang teacher at heart yata siguro ako.
Nice. Last question. When all is said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh, how do I want to be remembered? I never thought about that. Probably, paano ba? I think most importantly sa akin is how I made a difference in people's lives. I'm not talking about the general public. I'm talking about the people who work closely with me. No, I really hope that in the near future I would have contributed to making their lives better. I would have parang hope na in the future na nagbago yung landas, not only of the individuals but the families that they have. Kasi parang, alam mo, may staff ako na, di ba, binata pa na sa akin, may anak na, may ganun. Pero you feel that kind of connection to these people's lives in a very deep sense na, of course, I'm doing my work, of course, kilala ako, ganun. But I think what would truly matter is that the impact of the people you work closely with at mga taong inaalagaan mo on a real-world setting. Hindi yung hype, hindi publicity, hindi promotion, hindi social media.
Nice. Ganda, Chef. Well, Chef Tatung, thank you so much
very
for joining us. Maraming salamat for taking time in your busy schedule and joining us here in Grab a Bite. Madami kami natutunan regarding your life and also the restaurant business. So thank you so much. Now, Chef Tatung, you could plug your socials here.
Yeah. Please follow me on my social media channels. I have Chef Tatung, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. And also Simpol, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And also grab a copy of my cookbooks available now on all online stores. So these are, and this book has been nominated again. Ito mga award-winning na to. So this one won in Paris, this one's won in Saudi Arabia, and this one is nominated next year for the World Gourmand Awards in Portugal.
Nice.
And I just got a letter. It's also invited sa Bologna Children's Book Festival in Italy.
Nice.
So, yan lang.
Congratulations, Chef.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And hopefully you get to win those awards.
Yeah, sure na yun.
Sure na.
Claim.
Let's go. Yes, claim it. Tama. Manifest it ba?
Yeah, manifest
it.
yeah.
So, yeah, once again, thank you so much, Chef. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we'll see you again next time. So, guys, to all our foodies out there, we'll see you again in the next episode of Grab a Bite. Bye. Take care.
If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to follow all our socials at BiteSized.PH para updated kayo sa new episodes namin. See you in the next episode, foodies. Bye!